Did anyone ever tell you you play a very aggressive game?
Did anyone ever tell you you have very sensual lips?
The film opens up with Chris Wilton giving an interview to become a tennis player coach. Highly believing in luck and fate, our guy is an ambitious tennis player who can't be bothered to work hard to succeed, although he could have been a real pro. He wants to retire from tennis while his career peaks. His job required world tours and a lot of travel, so he decided to put an end to his career. To make ends meet and have the opportunity of meeting wealthy people, our boy has settled in London and started working as a tennis trainer in a high-end London tennis club. Our boy has made a very slick move. One day, while chatting with one of his trainees, Chris strikes up a friendship with a wealthy pupil, Tom. Out of nowhere, Tom and Chris show a common interest in opera and also talk about the fact that they have a unique and rare taste that is not appreciated by many. Affinity for opera bringing two people close is indeed never been heard before. Their affection for opera doesn't stop here. Tom invites Chris to see an opera show together. On his arrival, Chris is surprised to see Tom's family tagged along with him. Everyone greets and immediately takes their places before the show opens. Tom's sister, Chloe, shows obvious interest in Chris, which is noted by him. The next day, Tom rings his coach and lets him know he's made a good impression on his family. Tom also mentions his sister, who has found her brother's coach very attractive. Chloe is boring but willingly rich, so it's a half-win for coach. The same day, Tom invites his coach over for a family dinner, which he keenly accepts. Over the weekend, Chris pays a visit and joins Tom's family for dinner. The spontaneously rich Tom has a tennis court in his house. Tom and his coach hang out and practice their game. Tom's older sis, Chloe, intervenes and shows interest in playing. Chloe is a rookie, so Chris's coach mode turns on for Chloe. That day, he takes his time to teach Chloe how to play tennis like a pro. We all know why Chloe is showing interest in tennis all of a sudden. The two take a break and enjoy drinks in the meantime. Chris reveals to Chloe his struggling journey from being a poor boy to a successful and handsome young man. Chloe feels inspired by her brother's coach and starts liking him. As a sweet gesture for teaching her tennis, she invites her brother's coach to an art exhibition. Isn't she just smitten with the young coach like she's never seen a pretty boy before? On the same day, Chris is introduced to Nola, the table tennis champion. Chris instantly gets enchanted by the American Nola, who is not only athletic but very attractive and seductive too. Chris urges her to have a match with him and watch him win. Intrigued by the confidence, Nola accepts and plays with him. Chris wins over Nola, which grabs her attention. As Nola lights up her cigarette, Chris compliments Nola's plump lips while constantly staring at them. To break the sexual tension between the two, Tom appears and introduces Nola as his fiancée. Tom reveals Nola is a struggling actress, which his mother does not appreciate. Tom's mother is not happy with her son's relationship with Nola, which is a source of tension in the family. Coach's intentions for his trainee's girl don't look any good. He should try to stick to Chloe. Chloe, who desperately wants to see the coach around her often, encourages her father to give the boy a job as an executive in one of his companies. Alec, Chloe's father, agrees for the sake of his only daughter's love. Chloe breaks the big news to Chris at a double date with Tom and Nola, suggesting that she's finally dating her brother's young coach. Chris gets overwhelmed to hear the news from his date. He reveals that he has never done business before and nor does he know how to manage a business company. Coach's date breaks his tension by adding he'll learn along with the time. Chloe's help was unsolicited and uncalled though. Though the coach was supposed to give attention to his date, he is all into his future brother-in-law's fiancé, which no one finds odd. Chris is desperate to know more about Nola, the perfect American. To make things not obvious, he asks the American beauty about her debuts and show-ups in films. Nola, with slight embarrassment, reveals she's only been in one commercial and is deciding to call it quits on her dream job, acting. It's strange how no one is noticing the sexual tension between the two. Scenes shift to Alec's company, where our young coach is appointed as the company's chief executive. He greets men that are going to work under his command. He is overwhelmed to imagine running all the people that are twice older and more experienced than him. With our coach's new position, his involvement with the family increases. That's exactly what Chloe wished for. Rich people always end up getting what they want. That's not fair. One night, Chris comes to Chloe's place and gives her a CD of all her favorite songs. Both share a kiss and decide to make their evening magical by staying home and having dinner together. Axing her own feet, Chloe reveals that she has turned down the offer when Tom and Nola asked her to join them for dinner and specifically mentioned bringing Chris along. Desperate to catch a glimpse of Nola's holy grail body, Chris starts making excuses. He gaslights Chloe for turning her brother's lovely offer down. Saying their special evening can wait, he plays the emotion card and manipulates her into hanging out with Tom and his girl. The two then head for dinner, but much to Chris' disappointment, Nola doesn't show up. Tom reveals she has a role to play in theater, so she's nervous and doesn't want to hang out. Chris doesn't want to be a sandwich between Tom and his sis. The next day, Chris crosses paths with Nola outside the theater and gets butterflies in his stomach. Nola reveals she's tense because of the audition. Chris becomes her wingman and supports her throughout the day. Chris even sticks to her during the audition. Nola comes out of the theater and reveals her audition didn't go well and that she needs a drink to calm herself. As the two hang out at a local bar for a drink, Nola talks about the struggles in her life. She reveals her father left her when she was young, so she had to struggle alone. Now she wants to be successful after all the miseries she's been through. Nola's authentic background story is indeed very saddening. While drinking, Nola begins spitting truth bombs out of her mouth. She tells Chris that despite her cocky confidence, she seems to mess up her auditions every time she gets the chance. When Chris asks her how she met Tom, he gets shocked to hear that Nola only agreed to marry Tom because he gives her a lot of attention and expensive gifts. But she regrets her relationship with Tom because her in-laws don't like her and often say things that hurt her. Every rose has its thorn. Hearing this, Chris wonders if Alec and Eleanor dislike him too. Nola smiles and ensures that his in-laws love him for Chloe and are very keen on him because he's so much better than the last obnoxious and unaccomplished boyfriend she was deciding to elope with. In the end, she tells the coach to not screw up the perfectly going relationship with the Hewitts. When Chris asks how possibly he can do that, Nola smirks and says by running an affair with her. This suggests Nola is aware of our coach's intentions. Even though Chris knows it's true, he can't resist Nola. One day, everyone's asked to join the family's farmhouse, away from the suburbs. While playing chess with her fiancé, Nola is verbally attacked by her in-laws, who shame her failed acting career. She gets upset and rushes out. However, Chris sees her leaving from his window and goes after her in the rain. Nola tries to resist but ends up kissing and making out in the bushes with the coach. Kissing in the rain is so romantic, it can turn anyone on. A short time afterward, Chloe and Chris become engaged and they marry, which is perfect for his reputation and bank balance. Nola and Tom end up splitting up though. He starts dating a cousin in first degree of his, a match which is highly approved by the parents of both parties. That's an open window for Chris, but he must not break Tom's heart. Chris does well in the office. The company pays for his master's studies in economics and he is promoted. He keeps on seeing Nola, but the relationship starts to become a problem as she is becoming more and more demanding. One day, she drops the bombshell. She is pregnant with Chris' child. At first, Chris tries to convince her to have an abortion, but she won't hear of it. That would be her third abortion, and this time there is no way she's going to put up with it. She wants Chris to get a divorce from Chloe and marry her. He can't ditch the girl who has made him rich, and he can't pass the girl he's obsessed with either. On the other hand, Chloe wants to have a child of her own as well, which is becoming quite stressful for him, as Chloe has difficulties becoming pregnant. The sex, which must be made at certain times, has become a toll on him. As Nola hassles and harasses him all over London, Chris decides to kill her. He plans it all. With a hunting shotgun, he breaks into her flat and tries to make the murder look like a robbery. However, their nosy neighbor witnesses the murder and becomes one more problem for him to deal with. Never in a million years had we imagined Chris would turn on Nola like this. Nobody at home suspects Chris of having done anything wrong, but the detectives working on the case find Chris's name in Nola's address book and also find out about their secret affair. Chris has to go down to the police station to be questioned, but luckily they are unable to find dirt on him. But due to the address book and traced phone calls, he admits to having a secret affair with her. For some reason, Chris had kept Nola's ring from the crime scene. After knowing cops have eyes on him, he gets rid of it by throwing it into the river. Unbeknownst to him, the ring does not fall into the muddy water, but bounces on the metal railing and falls into the pathway of the touristic site. Was he trying to cherish the ring as the last memory of his crush? That's disgusting. One of the detectives is worried because the case doesn't completely add up in his mind. During a dream, Nola and the nosy neighbor talk to him and blame Chris. He is about to tell this theory to his coworkers when he is told that the ring has appeared. A drug addict they know has been killed, and he had the ring with him. This detail will save Chris' neck, as it proves that the murders were just somebody else's break-ins that went wrong. So all doubts concerning Chris are put aside. Nola deserved justice. In the end, Chris finally becomes a father and gets the company out of the financial crisis. His disgusting cover never gets lifted, and Nola's murder clings to him like a dirty secret. The last words that he says to justify his sins make him sound like a psychopath. Here, the film ends. The film is a roller coaster of emotions and interlinked relationships. Scarlett's acting was so surreal, as if she's Nola. If you love watching spicy movies with secret affairs and brutal consequences, Match Point is the one you're looking for. Please don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe. Comment below what you want to see us work on next.